I've had a pretty busy week, and I came back to Hearthstone to find that Blizzard nerfed my favorite class? How the hell am I supposed to win games when my opponent has the same amount of mana as me? That's just messed up, Blizzard. But I do think I have an idea that doesn't rely on having a ton of mana, and that's an aggressive Druid deck that plays Savage Striker. So the reason to play Savage Striker is for the sick turn 2 Pounce plus Savage Striker combo, which is essentially Backstab SI7 Agent, or like Backstab Mercspark Eel, which is just an insanely high tempo turn 2 play. Even if you have to wait until turn 3 for Claw plus Savage Striker, that's still pretty nuts. And of course we can also support the Savage Striker with our base hero power. It goes very nicely with the Malfurion the Pestilent hero power, and even has a little bit of synergy with Savage Roar. And honestly, with the current state of 2-drops in Hearthstone, I'm not that upset to play a River Crocolisk on turn 2, even if I don't have hero power synergy. Outside of the Savage Striker, I think this looks pretty similar to the Aggro Druid lists from about a year ago, around the time that Innervate got nerfed. We have a bunch of 1-drops, including the new Serenite Taskmaster, a Direwolf Alpha to follow those up, a couple copies of Druid of the Claw, which is honestly just an insane 2-drop that has not seen too much play because of Wild Growth and Kel'Atheth. On turn 3 we have Crypt Lord and War Druid Lodi, both just very solid cards, but maybe more interesting than those are the Void Rippers. They combo with Crypt Lord especially, but even like Dire Mole and Firefly just to push some damage. They kill the Death Rattle minion from the Serenite Taskmaster. You can get some permanent buffs with the Direwolf Alpha, good synergy with a 1/5 taunt. And of course it also has implications against the opponent's things, like Spreading Plague if there are any druids left on ladder, maybe like Spike Ridge Steed minions or something. Void Ripper is just a very solid card overall, and it's particularly good in this deck, I think. I think every card that costs 3 mana or less I'm pretty much sold on, but once we get up to the 4 mana slot, things are looking a little bit less convincing to me. I've got a 1-of Branching Paths, which is kind of like Savage Roar number 3, but in a pinch we can also draw cards. It might just be true that Savage Roar is just a worse card than Branching Paths in this deck, but the mana difference and the attack on the hero, particularly with Savage Striker, can make a difference. But maybe I want 2 of each. For now, just 1 Paths though. I've got 2 copies of Swipe, which honestly goes down in value a lot now that Odd Paladin got nerfed. But hey, it's 4 mana, deal 4 to the enemy, has some synergy with War Druid Lodi, so I think it's worth being in the deck. For 5-drops, I've got a Leroy Jenkins, which is good at killing the opponent, so I'm a fan. And then 1 Scalebane, 1 Fungalmancer. I'm leaning toward Fungalmancer being the better card, but I wanted to try out a Scalebane as well. And finally, we cap things off with Malfurion the Pestilent. It's an absolutely insane card on its own, has good synergy with the Savage Striker, even has good synergy with Savage Roar, because you put 2 things in play. But I am a little concerned that it just costs too much mana for a deck like this. I'm also interested in another build of this deck that goes in a more tokeny direction. The new Scarab Egg card is something I'm pretty interested in. It summons a bunch of things, we can drop a Power of the Wild on them, they're good with Savage Roar, it combos with Void Ripper. Just a lot of cool stuff that the Scarab Egg can do. But I think I'm going to try out the Scarab Egg tomorrow, and for now we're going to play this less tokeny version of the deck. So what's Rogue nowadays? Probably Odd Rogue?
The forest fights back.
Pounce is decent against Odd Rogue, right? And we'll take the 1-drop. Nice, got the Pounce Striker combo. If he's Odd Rogue, I might save this for turn 3. He's not Odd Rogue, that's interesting. Well, let's lead with the Taskmaster. I could have coined out a Firefly there, and then I'd have 2 things on board for Direwolf Alpha next turn, but that doesn't seem relevant. Seems like a really good Pounce Savage Striker turn. Augmented Elec. So I guess it's just Miracle Rogue with Faldore Striders and whatnot. Dealing 4 to this is kind of annoying.
Easy prey.
I'm gonna play the Direwolf Alpha and then throw down a taunt. Just try to kill him. Rogue has trouble healing, right? Probably a Zilliax in his deck, but not much else. And for me to get punished leaving this up, he has to have a Feldore Strider here, or an Academic Espionage, I guess. And I'm not even that upset if he plays a 4-4, or, you know, nothing is also not that upsetting. So I probably do want to kill one of these. Can either just claw into this, or claw hero power into this. I think I like claw, and just play a bunch of stuff. He's probably going to kill my Taskmaster here and get an O3. But I should have plenty of stuff to kill both the Spellbreaker and the O3.
I wonder.
Ha, this guy's toast.
I definitely need to draw something impactful here. Void Ripper seems decent. Kills this taunt straight up. I can hero power into this 1-2. Puts a lot of power on my board. Has to be good. So I'm showing, what is this? 5, 10, 13. I think I definitely want to make this hit at least. Am I killing an SI7 agent? Probably not. I do get pretty wrecked by Fan of Knives here. So say I trade, this goes in here. I still have 2, 4, 6, 8. What do I have in deck? Pounce, Claw, Direwolf, 2 Savage Roars, Branching Paths, 2 Swipes, 2 Fungals, Leroy. There's definitely a good chance I can draw into lethal making this trade. And it's just so much better against Fan of Knives. Oh, okay. Cool. Just ran him over.
Lunara versus Gul'dan. Your soul shall be mine.
The forest fights back.
So if he's not Zoo, Savage Striker isn't great. But it's still a River Croc that beats up even Warlock, I guess. Doesn't look to be even lock. I'm not sure what this suggests. Probably just some sort of control Warlock. I want to play Crypt Lord next turn. These Q block.
Let's see.
I can still play this on, what, turn 4 before Mountain Giant comes out?
I see.
Just go 2-3 here. This turn is definitely easier than the last. Wow, coin Hellfire. So I can put a point in there. I think I like hero power and play a poisonous guy. Contests any big thing he wants to do next turn. Alright. Kind of a bummer to lose my poisonous guy, but I can just drop another Crypt Lord. Opponent's at 15. I do have a Leroy, I have a Savage Roar, but it's a while before I can play both of them. Unless maybe next turn I just play one of them. And set up to kill him with the other in the future. So either of them is 6 damage. With Roar, I can also hero power, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Fuck it. Doesn't really seem like I can do anything else meaningful this turn. If I drew like a Fungal Mancer or a Scalebane, Void Ripper, pretty much anything else, Other than Malfurion, I think I would not have roared here. But this is okay. I assume the 8/8 goes into my 1/6, and then I have Hero Power Leroy for 8 next turn. Not even sure if Q-Block still plays Dark Pact, but if he does, I could beat that. I don't beat the Spellstone, unfortunately. This is 9 damage. Nice. Got him with the Pounce. I didn't even really feel like I did anything powerful that game. I just kind of played something every turn and then Savage Roar Leroy and he died.
Lunara versus Zoranoyo.
The forest fights back.
Not expecting odd Paladin, so I'll toss the swipe. Definitely want to keep the Mole. Let's see, if he's OTK, how good is Pounce? 0 mana kill a Loot Hoarder. Helps me break through a Righteous Protector. Seems kind of low impact against Paladin. War Druid Lodi. Haven't played this card yet. Hopefully I can remember what its forms do. There's Giant Wasp, Dalaran Mage, 4/2 Rush, and Shitty Crypt Lord. Wow, this turn is looking pretty unexciting.
Good.
But I do have Crypt Lord into Shitty Crypt Lord into Void Ripper, which could be a ton of damage.
Mind if I roll need?
I'm just gonna ignore this loot order. Seems like I miss 1 damage by killing it.
Mind if I roll need?
Wow, he doesn't take the trade. So I can Hero Power Savage Striker here.
I see your weakness.
Sick. Got him. So if I Void Ripper next turn, when does this get buffed? After I play, probably. After you summon. So, 13 damage. It's definitely a hell of a lot. Can Hero Power along with it. But that play does get wrecked by just Consecration, or even just Pyromancer. Well, no, this guy outlives Pyromancer, right?
This'll be good.
Let's play this thing, I guess. Where are we? 1/6 taunt. I don't think this board is scary enough that he'll, like, coin Equality Consecration. If he has Pyro Equality, he might play it here. Or if he's just heads up on this Void Ripper, I guess he might play it. Dude, look at this War Druid Lodi form. It's like an armored turtle. It's pretty sick. Okay, so this thing is going to heal him for a lot, especially if I flip it. How much damage do I have here? What, 6? 6 is 12. This is just lethal, right? Play these things to buff the Crypt Lord. Didn't even need the claw, goddamn. Void Ripper's sneaky.
Lunara versus Anduin.
Priest is pretty scary,
The forest fights back.
but I might be able to set up a board that's not very weak to Mass Hysteria, so that could be good. I think I'm going to keep this 1 into 2 into Direwolf curve. Threw away the Pounce because these shouldn't have early drops. That's an early drop, but Pounce wouldn't have killed it. I don't want to coin out a Poisonous. Cleric is pretty spooky. Yeah, that Pounce would have been pretty good. I could have just passed here, or even just gone like coin, Pounce, Striker, kill this. That's a really shitty power word shield. As far as power word shields go, at least.
I see your
Oh, let's play 2-3. Probably want to play a Crypt Lord over a Direwolf Alpha next turn, but we'll see. At this point, I'm guessing it's probably just a Mind Blast list. I really like getting a bunch of health on this guy to play around Mass Hysteria. I guess the Poisonous guy really sucks against Mass Hysteria, huh? But I think I still like playing this. Definitely possible that Direwolf, Dire Mole was better there. Push 2 immediately, it pushed more next turn. But I think I do like this. Let's definitely push some damage. I'm probably just going to throw this guy down as well. And we're just hoping that when he plays Mass Hysteria, the Poisonous guy doesn't run into the Crypt Lord. Into the Direwolf, please. Okay. Alright, that was pretty good for me. Pretty good. No coin for the opponent, so I shouldn't be getting screamed next turn. Do I want to go Crypt Lord Diremole or just Scalebane? Probably just Scalebane. I just have lethal if he doesn't have, what, like some kind of Spirit Lash play or another Mass Hysteria. The first Mass Hysteria was from Shadow Vision, so he has 2 more. Looks like he doesn't have it though. Shadow Word Death. I have 17 damage here. Yep. So yeah, he played Mass Hysteria. I had 3 things live, and he died, basically. Well, this deck certainly has some short games, and after 12 of those short games, I went 8-4, so 67% win rate. Of course, you have to consider my Dumpster Legend rank, but 67% pretty good. Maybe this could potentially be the new face of Druid. But there were at least a couple changes I wanted to make to the deck. I figured that going in, Fungalmancer would probably be better than Scalebane, and I think coming out, I'm pretty convinced that that's the case, so let's cut the Scalebane, play another Fungalmancer. And I think the Malfurion and the Pestilent is definitely just too slow for this deck. So I want to cut this, maybe play a second copy of Branching Paths, or try to find a standalone good 4-drop. It's a little bit weird that all of our 4-drops are situational spells. So Serenite Chain Gang is one that comes to mind normally. I'm considering trying out this Mark of the Loa card. It's very similar to the Chain Gang, but sometimes we can put +2/+4 on a Crypt Lord or something. That could be pretty impressive. Something else to consider would be cutting the War Druid Lodi for another 4-drop. Whatever 4-drop you decide is good. For now, I'll go with 2 Mark of the Loa. I would go 1 Mark, 1 Serenite Chain Gang, but I disenchanted all my Chain Gangs. I think the War Druid Lodi is a fine card, but maybe it just doesn't make as much sense in this deck as just playing a second 4-drop instead of like a 5th 3-drop. So I think this list is looking pretty solid. You can play around with the number of 1s and 2s in the deck. Maybe Swipe is another card to consider cutting, and certainly Mark of the Loa might not be optimal. But for this build of the deck, I think this is in a pretty good spot. But briefly, I just want to talk about the list I'm going to play tomorrow, so I can maybe bait some people into subscribing. This build is a little bit more token focused. We've got a couple copies of Scarab Egg and some Power of the Wilds to go along with it. For egg activators, we have the Power of the Wild, the Direwolf Alpha, Savage Roar, Branching Paths, Mark of the Loa, Fungalmancer, and in particular Void Ripper. And a lot of those are also pretty good with a Devilsaur Egg. So not too many card changes to the deck, maybe 5 or 7 or so, but I think it might end up having a pretty different playstyle.